In this video, I'm going to be doing an unboxing, a review, and testing of this ZyXel powerline adapter. Give everybody a good look at the box. This is the 200 megabit a second version. It is the US plug. I guess the model is right there, the PLA-401 version 3. Alright, let's see what's in the box. Okay, so there is the box, and here are the contents. We've got a driver CD, it looks like. Might still not be a bad idea to check out the website and see if there's an updated one. Warranty card. And the user quick start guide and manual. Not very thick. Looks like the English ends here, so it looks thick, but it's written in a bunch of different languages. So then we've obviously got the adapters themselves. Venting on the side there. And I'm going to guess that the other one is identical. And I guessed correctly. And then also we have a couple Ethernet cables. Alright, so that is what we have in the box. Now the fun part. I'm going to be hooking this up in my main office room with my internet router, and then I'll take the second one and I'll plug it in different locations around my home on different circuits, and we'll see how well it transfers. So for the first test, I've got the router plugged in, the power line adapter plugged in, got it hooked up like it says in the instruction manual, which is pretty easy. You just plug it in and plug the network cable in. And then in the same room, same circuit, plug the other one in, and instantly it finds a network connection. And I have network access according to Windows 7 here. So that's cool. Easy. Not even 10 seconds in, I've got a network connection. So let's see what kind of transfer rates we get then. Alright, so now I'm transferring, and one thing I've noticed is that center button is like a connection type button, or rather quality. If it goes, let's see if we can get a focus here. When it goes in the red, then it's not as good of a connection, and when it's green, then it's a much better connection. So, pulling a single 1 gigabyte file from my home server through the power line into my netbook, I'm getting about 4.5 to 5 megabytes per second. And keep in mind, even though this is a 200 megabit a second adapter, we've got, it's going over a 100 megabit a second Ethernet, which is about 12 megabytes per second. So we saw 5, which is not bad, I don't think. Now I'm going to do another one, and we'll see about a cluster of smaller files. Now I'm copying over my MP3s. So this is 10,000 files over about 40 gigabytes. That would let you believe that each file is around 4 megabytes. And we're still in that range, a little bit slower, you know, closer to the 4 to 4.25 megabytes a second. So like I expected, it would slow up a little bit when we started doing a lot of files. Now I'm going to run into another room on another circuit, and we'll plug this guy in, and I'll do a little demonstration of when it goes into the red zone or the lesser quality connection. And then we'll do the same tests again in the other room. So here we are in another section of the house. I already did some testing on it. We're getting about 2 megabytes per second. So moving to a different circuit in the house definitely does make a huge difference. This particular one I'm using is a GFCI outlet as well too. I wanted to see if it would even work on it. But as you can tell, that center light is now amber. It's a little different. I'm using reveal lighting in this room, so the reveal lighting gives everything a little reddish tint to it anyway. But that definitely is an amber light in the center there. So it definitely made a huge difference on the throughput, going down, you know, from about 4.5 megs a second to about 2 megs a second. But we still have network connection, and it would be suitable even still for an internet to transfer internet with. Obviously 2 megabytes per second is about 16 megabits. So unless you had like a 20 megabit network or internet connection or higher, you could still share an internet connection with this quite well. Although transferring probably high definition video obviously is going to be out unless you buffer it maybe, or standard definition video might fare a little better. But I'm going to try a couple other things too as well too. I'm going to try a power strip, and I'm going to try a UPS going through the same socket there to see if either one of these kills the signal. Okay, so with a simple power strip, this is not a surge protector, I'm still getting network connection. It's obviously still in the red, but same outlet I was using before. So we're still getting a network connection. And one thing I wanted to add as well too, when I power down the netbook or whatever device is connected to it, after a while I do notice that this goes into a power saving mode, and just that top, the power light, will flash. I thought something was wrong with it at first, but once I booted up the netbook, it kicked on and connected just fine. So it must go into some kind of a power saving mode if it doesn't detect anything on this end for a particular amount of time. Okay, so now I will try the UPS and see, but I think the UPS is probably going to kill the signal. Okay, so interestingly enough, when it is connected to the surge only outlets on this UPS, and this is an APC unit by the way, but I doubt it matters but which unit it is, I'm still getting a good connection, or rather a bad connection, but it is a connection anyway. I'm still getting a stable connection, there's a better word, in the surge only. When I do put it into the battery and surge, then I can't pick up any kind of a signal whatsoever anywhere in the house. So what I would guess is you just can't have this on battery backup, which isn't a huge deal, because if your power goes out, I mean, you probably should power down your computer anyway, rather than trying to do whatever you're doing over the network. So that is a definite kill. And while I was out, I tried a different sub panel. I went to a different part of the house, this switch in particular, that is on a different sub panel than the main part of the house. This is actually off of my garage sub panel, and even though they go back to the same main panel and on the front of the house, it does not loop from sub panel to sub panel through the main panel. So definitely that'd be a limitation here. I couldn't have a power line network in my garage from the main part of the house. So that's one thing to note too, that it's just not, which I mean isn't horrible. I mean, it's asking an awful lot, I think, if you want the powerline Ethernet to jump from sub panel to sub panel through a main panel. I mean, it probably gets a little confusing for it, and it won't quite make it. But it is something I wanted to try to see how well it worked. All right, now we'll get to the recap and overview. So here we are with the recap on the ZyXel powerline adapter, PL-401, or excuse me, PLA-401 version 3. I really like it. I didn't get quite the 200 megabits per second. Granted, I'm using 100 megabits per second Ethernet adapters, so I obviously wouldn't see 200, but I thought I'd get a little closer. Maybe, you know, newer homes, I suppose when they test these things as well too, they probably have, you know, the most awesome, all the stars are aligned, awesome setup type of thing. I mean, I'm running a house. Obviously, there's things on the house. There's appliances. There's multiple things going on in the power. Maybe if you had nothing going on in the power and you were just transferring, like if you did maybe 2 outlets and some Romex in between them, and you connected them, maybe then you'd get a perfect world type deal where there's actually even no AC electricity running through the line. Maybe that would be what it would take to get this particular product to hit the max speed. But, you know, I don't doubt that, you know, they're obviously not false advertising, I don't think. I don't doubt that it can hit 200 megabits per second. I just didn't see it in my testing, which I'm totally not even going to knock the product for. I think it's great. If you don't have the option of running power lines and you need to get internet or networking from one room to another, I think it'd be a great deal. Obviously, like I said before, you know, we were on the same room, same circuit. We were getting 4.5 megabytes per second. So I think you could probably do some higher definition video and audio over that. I don't know about 1080p or 3D, but I think you could definitely run maybe like a 720p and over that line. And then when you get away to a different circuit though, and it was starting to drop down to 1.5 to 2 megabytes per second, obviously there you're not going to be able to run HD video, but it's still a decent enough, I feel, to share network. You know, a little network connection, maybe networking, gaming in your own home. I think you could do internet just fine. It doesn't appear that it would affect, I'm sure it affects ping times maybe a little bit, but I doubt it's even enough to worry about. In my opinion, it's better than wireless. I think it's definitely, it seems like it's a more stable connection. I definitely get faster than what I feel I get out of a 54 megabits per second. I don't ever feel like I get any kind of speed like that. So I would definitely recommend this over wireless. And I think it's more secure as well too, because anytime you have a wireless signal, I think obviously people can hack into it and whatnot. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble a little bit. In closing, I would just say I recommend this. Not a super well-known brand to me, but the price was definitely right. I think I paid about $60 for this set, and I've seen some that they had, it had a built-in switch, so there was 4 Ethernet ports on the other end, so you wouldn't have to, obviously you could just run a switch right out of this, but the other one you wouldn't have to run a switch with. I've seen singles, I think I've seen this kit, a single kit, and then the one with the built-in switch. I would imagine that they're all equally as good, and this is definitely something that I personally would pay money for rather than running wires, especially if you don't have the room or the access to run the wires too. I think this would be a great product. As always, thank you for watching.